So, welcome viewers. We are starting off with our community weekend. This time it happens to be on a Saturday. Um, as you know that at Earthy Tales, we are committed to bring you organic and natural lifestyle, which includes the food and the healthcare, the oral care, the beauty care, and much more. Yeah? And the reason is, and especially the food. So when we talk about food, the reason is that food affects us on our mind, body, and spirit. And for this particular reason, today we have our special guest with us, Sandeep. I'll just give a small introduction to Sandeep. Sandeep is a corporate guy who has had a great experience and exposure. I studied with masters the Vedas, Tao, Zen, and Vajrayana. Is it right?
Yes.
So thanks to this, he brings a very unique, practical perspective to the ancient wisdom that we always had with us. And he has coached over about 2,000 people in 46 cities in over 4 continents. That's huge. And Sandeep's inner power practices have benefited people with a variety of issues like the diabetes, the cancer, and even depression. So welcome, Sandeep, on our community weekend. We welcome. Thank you. So, Sandeep, today our session is on Mind Your Plate. Right? So when I talk about this, and we also know that the food affects us on the mind level, the body level, and also the spirit level. So we would want and we would like to learn from you on these three aspects. So let's start with the what you call the mind. So let me begin with the mind, and how does the food affect our mind? Let's just understand that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sony Saab, and welcome viewers. It's such a pleasure to be talking to you today and mind your plate. So, this session Earthy Tales is organizing for you, and I would really love it if you get to participate here. So I'd like to check with you and just put in the chat, in the comments, if you have been in a metro or if you heard the words mind the gap. In the metro they say mind the gap before you get off. Just type M if you heard that. And while you type M, I'll tell you why. Because while we're talking about mind, Nasandiji, we are talking about that mind. We're not talking about brain. A lot of people tend to think brain is the mind and stuff like that. Or even heart is the mind, or emotions are the mind. So yes, great, Ankit, a lot of responses coming here. Please just keep participating, keep commenting so that we know you're with us, and feel free to ask questions also. So when we say mind the gap, we actually mean that remember that there is a gap between the metro and the platform. So now if you remember there's a gap, you will probably remember or realize that you don't put your foot inside it. All that goes without saying. We don't say all that. We just say mind the gap. That means don't fall in. Right? So
Right.
Mindfulness and working with the mind is remembering. Now this session is called Mind Your Plate. Right? It doesn't mean put your brain on your plate, obviously. It means remember what is on your plate and what that is doing to you. And that's so important that at every point in time we are remembering things like you said, Sondiji, related to the mind, the body, and the spirit. So let's talk about three things for each one of these as we go along. Yeah. The mind, the first thing that I'd like us to remember is that the mind is a monkey. Okay, we often think about an overthinking mind. We often think about a mind that can't stay stable. Some of us have tried to meditate and stuff like that, and we say, "Yeah, you just can't sit." Right? Happens to you guys? If it happens, just type yes in the chat box. Huh? Love to know how many of us are like I was. just can't sit to meditate. The mind is here, mind is there. So the cool thing here is that you got to make friends with this mind. It's like making friends with a monkey. You train the monkey, you get the monkey to do what you want to do because the monkey realizes that you are on his side. Now, how do you work with the monkey? So, in terms of what you eat, one thing is the monkey loves bananas. So, bananas, potassium, seeds, these things are very good for incorporating into your diet. The increase in potassium is really good. But that is on the physical aspect of things. The mind can be trained and the body can benefit if we don't eat as much as we feel we need to eat. Because the mind is preparing us, what if we don't get the next meal? Let us have too much. It's a survival instinct that it's preparing us for. But what yogis do, what I've learned from Taoism, from ancient Oriental wisdom, is that if you eat about 3/4 of what you usually eat, your body will start adapting to 3/4. And you will start finding that that is a full meal. Eventually, you can reduce up to 2/3. And that will keep you a little hungry. When you're a little hungry, you may eat more times. So you may eat, instead of 3 or 4 meals, you may eat small snacks every 3-4 hours, right? Or even every 2 hours. I'll talk more about what you do every 2 hours. But when you do that, you are giving the mind this different habit of not getting attached to a lot of food, not overstuffing and having the stomach process a lot, because that then makes us we get overworked, right? Obviously, the stomach is working very hard. All our metabolism is stressed. So the mind is the source of preventing that stress. So give the mind good stuff like bananas. Give the mind a reason to stay hungry for a while. And in fact, personally, for the last 12 years now, I've stopped having dinner. So I just have breakfast and lunch, and that is what a lot of my teachers used to do. In fact, many of them don't eat after 12 o'clock. And we just find that by keeping dinner absolutely, kind of fasting in that space, we are a lot lighter in the mornings, which then gives us the flexibility, the fluidity to be able to do more, and then the body just rebalances itself into that kind of a routine. Right? So think of that. Another thing is very interesting, which science is just figuring out interestingly, is that the brain and the gut are connected. And in fact, there are more neurons in your gut than there are in the brain. So there is a huge processing of information, of experience, of energetic stuff actually. 2,000, 4,000 years back, in fact, the Buddha, there's a painting of the Buddha here, he coined the concept of mindfulness. He's got 16 foundations of mindfulness. And he discovered that gut-brain connection. And maybe he didn't discover it, we knew it, but he worked on it so that these forms of Kundalini yoga, for example, where the Kundalini, which is the gut, is directly connected with the brain. And we use that connection to power ourselves. So the energy that we get, that stays strong throughout the day and throughout life as we keep this gut-brain connection strong. So in order to feed the gut and in order to help the gut, what you want to bring on your plate are a lot of prebiotics and probiotics, which assist in these are bacteria which assist in the processing of our food and make our enzymatic activity more powerful and more basically it increases the efficiency of our enzymatic activity. And while we have doctors recommending probiotics along with antibiotics, because then the stomach lining really takes a beating, it's good to have things like dahi or even probiotic supplements to as a regular practice to aid this. So if you remember in our normal Sattvic diet, we always have a dahi. In South Indian food, we always end with dahi. And there is a reason for it. And this is the reason. It's good for the mind, it's good for the gut brain. So that's how you bring the mind.
So you're saying that by keeping our gut healthy, we're actually keeping our mind in good shape, right?
Totally, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you're saying that treat your mind like a monkey. So feed what the monkey likes, which is the banana and the super seeds. Great. I think it's a good learning. So this is a good food for the gut and then eventually for the mind, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. So now, as we know that the body directly carries the food, so anything specific that you would want to suggest for keeping the body fit at the body level? So we have covered the mind level. Now, when coming to the body level, how would you coach us on that front?
So I'm going to, viewers, I want you to respond to this. I'm going to say that don't get on any diet that restricts your eating. Agree, disagree? A diet should not restrict your eating.
Yeah, I would definitely.
So Didi, you have really experimented with so many things and learned so many things, but often we get a feeling that on a diet we are supposed to cut, we're supposed to fast, we're supposed to restrict this and that. The thing is that let's remember 3-2-1. Okay. 3-2-1 is bringing fat down, right? From 3 to 2-1, 83 to 82 to 81, whatever it is.
All right.
Point is a reduction. But the reason I say 3-1 is because we must remember that there are three things that we must focus on bringing into our diets. And in fact, the more you eat of these three, the better it is for you. So when I said eat every 2 hours also if necessary, eat only these three things, nothing else. And what are these three things? These three things are lean proteins. Lean proteins would mean things like nuts. Now, like I was telling you in the nights, I don't eat anything, but I keep some nuts on my side. So I have pani shani and I have nuts, right?
Okay.
Also, if you're into non-veg, then you could have lean proteins of that sort. Otherwise, beans and dals and things like that, pulses, because those build us up. And I also have protein supplements. So protein supplements are provided they're very natural. You need to look at something which is completely organic, because this is going so pure into your system that whatever you take in will get absorbed. So you don't want any muck getting absorbed in your insides.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Proteins that's why I'm not so much in favor of animal protein, because you never know what kind of hormones are going into it. And that's the problem. It's not the meat per se, it's the way that we are making the meat these days. So I'm not sure whether what you're getting in the market is necessarily natural. That's what's important. And otherwise, lean proteins of that sort. The second thing is vegetables, leafy vegetables, fiber, a lot of stuff that helps us process, because while protein is forming our walls, it's forming our body system, it's the brick in cement, the fiber is actually putting things together. It is the layering of the cement, it is sanding the bricks together. So that's making our structure in place. And that's, you can imagine the way fiber works is it just holds things together. So anything leafy, anything fibrous, even a fibrous supplement for that matter, but as close to what can be absolutely natural and chemical free. That's what's most important, because remember, whatever you eat stays with you, and what does not stay with you is what you excrete. Now the point
Correct.
is, you must excrete only what the body needs to excrete, because it has processed it. It has sucked everything out. If I eat a coin just now, a piece of metal, the coin will come out as it is, but the body has nothing to do with it. Now that's
True.
okay for the coin, but is that okay for food? And you want the food to get processed, and then whatever is left comes out, right? So take in whatever has the maximum nourishment, and which is why when you know that something is organically grown, that certainly has more nourishment than something that is not, and that will show in your state of health. So let's say you have lean proteins, you have these fruits and veggies, and then you have fruits, and then you have these fibrous veggies and all, and then you have fruits, because fruits also have a lot of fiber, and the other thing that they have is a lot of water. So that is very important. So you're going to have this. Then coming to the twos, have hydration. So two things that you're going to hydrate with are going to be water. You're going to have a lot of water, at least 3 to 4 liters of water, which could be plain water, or ideally not plain, ideally something with something inside, like I have a tea bag inside. So that gives a little mineral. And every 5 minutes, 6 minutes, have a little bit of water. Yeah?
Okay.
So you keep a glass of water next to you and keep hydrating every 5-10 minutes. So that in an hour, you finish the glass. And then go and get a refill. You get a little bit of exercise going back to the water cooler or the fridge or whatever.
Anything of the quantum of water that we have to intake on a daily basis?
I would say about 3-4 liters. So let's say if you're refilling your glass every hour, then you're doing about 10 to 12 glasses a day, which is a good thing to do. Plus, you're doing your chai, you're doing your, whatever else you have, coffees or juices or milk or whatever else you have. So
liquid intake is about 4 liters.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
And the second way of hydration is to take fruit juices. So have any amount of that. You can't go wrong, because the more you take in, the body will stop you at a point and you will pee it out. So when you're peeing out, you're removing toxins and you're removing anything that the body does not need. You may sweat more, you may excrete it in some way or the other, don't worry about it. But ensure you're taking in the right stuff, so that whatever you are excreting is post all the nourishment being sucked in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one thing that you need as a base, but the least of it, is carbs. So I would not want you to have carbs as a staple. You see, in Indian diets, what happens is we have these rotis or this rice. Even in Chinese diets, that rice is a base. But that's incorrect. Carbs are important because carbs are basic glucose. And when we fall sick, when we are admitted to a hospital, the first thing that they give us an injection is glucose, so that we kind of revive, because it's easiest to digest and process. But it is not in proportion. We've got to have those proteins, fruits and vegetables max, water and other hydrations second, and carbs lowest. But keep it in your diet to have a base of the sugar. I would also say that you could have chocolate as sugar. That's a good thing to do. Dark chocolate. It's got 70% cocoa or 50% cocoa at least. That would be good. But that sort of thing. So that sort of a diet is something that you can have a lot of and feel light with and actually lose weight with. So that's something that I would like to bring to the plate in terms of the body.
Okay, so which means we follow the principle of 3 to 1, as I understand. So 3s are my lean proteins, my leafy veggies, and the fruits. And when I come to two, it's the hydration. So which is water and your juices. And water essentially, probably you can put some tea bag into it, or maybe you could put some coriander or some
Lemon.
maybe pepper or lemon, something like
Yes.
that. So, to
And you can
release its
cut
flavor.
fruits. Now summers is coming, you just make a nice big jug of cut fruits, put water in it, keep replenishing it, and the mineral will
Mm.
keep coming into your body system.
Yeah,
Every
wonderful.
day
So,
replace the
so
food.
that's the two,
And it looks
and the
beautiful
one
on the
is,
dining table. A
of
jug
course,
with the fruits and it
of
looks
course.
very pretty.
Yeah, I think I've seen in a lot of hotels these days. I think your wisdom is reaching there as well. And the one is the carb. So basically, the lowest amount of intake should be of the carb, right?
Yeah, that's
So
right.
this will what basically will be on our plate for our body.
It'll serve very well. And the thing is, you never constrained. The reason why we feel that we can't diet is because we feel we
Hmm.
can't cut something out, or we feel we're going to be hungry. Okay, if you're hungry, go grab another juice.
Okay,
You know?
right, right.
But don't go
So
outside of these
basically,
things.
yeah. So plan our meal and our food intake based on this principle of 3, 2, 1. So this will wonderful. This is really, really pretty radical, actually. I would say. It's completely shifted my thought process. So how does now food change our spirit? Like you said,
Hmm.
mind, body, and spirit. So how about the spirit?
Great, great. Guys, are you enjoying this? Give us some love if you're enjoying it. Yeah, let's have some questions also. We're talking about food for mood, then food for fat, and now we'll talk about food for fun. So you gotta
Hmm,
have fun eating. Okay, that fun builds up the spirit. The spirit is
true.
basically your energy. How energized you feel. If your spirits are down, you're low on energy. If your spirits are up, you're excited, you're willing to work, you're willing to do things. Now, I love the love. Thank you, Ankit. Um, how do you have fun eating? Now, it's not about making fun shaped potato fries and stuff like that. No, 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 no. Remember, potato fries is not on our list of six things. 3, 2, 1. In fact, potato fries are carbs and bad carbs. So let me tell you this: if you want to have fun, you want to keep your fats like down. So your fries have to be like out of diet, okay? Because that is not fun. What is fun is to be able to have whatever you want, but a very limited amount to satiate the monkey mind. Okay,
Hmm,
so if you're crying for those uh, fries, let's say, have them to the extent of 4, 5, 6. That's it. You don't have to have a plate full of them. And having done that, do not feel guilty about it. Because this emotion of guilt, no, is more harmful than the calories you intake.
right. True.
So have it because I deserve it. My body asked for it, my mind wanted it, now my mind is happy. Four is enough. I've told my mind that's it. Like training the monkey. Four fries, done, happy, no guilt, no pressure, and you're happy, have fun. Then, like I said, have chocolate, have dark chocolate. It's good for you, and it also gives you that sweet tooth. Now you don't have to have that rasgulla or that mithai with a whole lot of processing in it. Don't do that because it is so processed that is far away from its natural state. Right? You want to have natural state, you go to the cow and get milk. Right? Don't keep killing everything inside the milk and then think they're putting so much sugar in it, which is also processed white sugar, and then think that you're having something very nice. No
Yeah.
need. You are just troubling your stomach. But you want to have fun, have stuff which is close to natural, unprocessed. You know,
Hmm.
unprocessed nuts, unprocessed rice have brown rice. It's more fibrous also. Right? So you can have fun with food without putting too many restrictions, so long as you realize that the three things here are: let it be very close to nature, unprocessed. Let it be guilt-free. So even if you have to have one rasgulla, have a rasgulla, have it without guilt, and don't say this is my rasgulla for the morning and I'll have another in the afternoon, another in the evening. That's not working for you. What's working for you is one a week maybe, just to satiate the mind till you can wean out of it. And third is just stay away from chemicals, because these are not natural. These are man-made. The body doesn't know. The way the body is trained for 100,000 years in the past that we've been on this planet, it doesn't know how to handle those things. So there's nothing that's going to train it to handle it, right?
Right.
It's only going to pull you down. The reason stress is going up, the reason problems are going up, is because we have so much of chemical exposure. Stop it. That gets the spirits up.
Okay. So basically, eat whatever you want, but it should be guilt-free. So if you want to have it, have it. Don't have guilt.
Absolutely.
And
You
follow
know,
the principle
Sandeep,
of
this is a big
self-love.
subject about our energy and how these vibrations that we have, the vibes that we get from
True.
food, from people, from everything,
Mm.
really push us up or push us down. At
Absolutely.
least in food, guilt is one big one.
So we have our viewer who's asking us, how can we be mindful of stress eating? So actually, what happens is when you are stressed out, you end up eating a lot more than the normal intake, if I understand the question correctly. Because it happens with me sometimes. How do we, counter that?
Great. So, to create any habit or to break any habit or to change any habit, there are three things that you need to: mind, body, spirit again. The body first has to have something that it can replace whatever you have with. So, your stress eating, replace whatever that stress eating is with one of those 3 to 1 things. Okay, keep nuts. That's the best thing. Kaju, badam, something like that, or kishmish, keep them next to you. Right.
Hmm.
So instead of stress eating something out of the fridge, you open your drawer, and that's the body's response. It knows what to replace with, right?
Hmm.
Where the mind comes, the mind has to be convinced that it is something that is good for us. So, because the mind is always protecting us, and the monkey, it's on our side. So, the mind has to know that whatever stress eating I'm doing it because it helps me feel less stressed. So this is where I want you to be mindful. Remember, think about it, that when I do eat, do I really feel less stressed, or am I fooling myself? Maybe
Hmm.
eating was not the solution. Like maybe shopping is not the solution to depression.
True.
But we just think that way because we fool the mind into looking at this, looking at that, window shopping, or chewing in your case of stress eating. But is that making you less stressed? If it's not, that's not the solution. So you're solving the wrong problem. And the spirit level is where the spirit safeguards us from things that could be bad for us. So it is a reflexive response, which is a gut response, which the unconscious mind plays up. And we've got to see that the spirit is in agreement with our eating. So let's say we have a spiritual disconnect with nuts, then don't use nuts. Use maybe fruits. Use maybe a shake. You always keep a shake in the fridge, and that's what you eat. Right? So something like that. Oh, yeah.
Can you just explain this word spiritual disconnect with food? In this case, nuts. So, what does it mean? I mean, it's really important to understand this.
Yeah. So some people have these nut allergies.
Ah,
And
okay, okay.
where do they come from? They come from an unconscious disconnect with that. They don't even know it. They just swell up. And
Ah,
where's that coming from? Science can't explain that. So it's an energetic repulsion. So find something else. But as long as these three fit, habits are easy, because then you've aligned the habit at a body, mind, spirit connection level, and you establish the connection.
Right. Wonderful.
I hope that answers that.
Yes, yes, yes. It does, and answers very well. And I think we are at the end of our time zone as well. Thank you very much, Sandeep, for joining us. It has been a lovely, lovely session. And one of the next sessions that we want to take up with you, I would want to know myself and our viewers also something about your renewalism. So I just hope that we get an opportunity to chat with you, depending on your schedules, and we would want to talk about that.
Lovely. Just to leave viewers with the word renewalism would be unfair. Renewalism is about how our habits can help us renew at a body, mind, spirit level, help the planet renew, like we've seen in COVID, because we stopped using our vehicles, the air renewed, in Delhi, especially when blew. And how we can create systems that renew the way that we live and work. Like again, with COVID, we stopped going to offices and the whole system changed. So that's what renewal is about, and each one of us plays a role. So I look forward to that conversation, and
Yes.
I look forward to meeting you all again. And also on the subject of habits, Soniti, if I may, there is a program that I do every Sunday, tomorrow, 5 o'clock,
Right.
on Zoom, called the Habits for Happiness. And very kindly, your team has shared a link for that in WhatsApp. I hope you have got it. So join me there, because we talk more about these habits and how easy it is to create, and how important it is, and how we can directly create habits for happiness. So you don't have to get up at 5 in the morning so that you can work more, so that you can earn more, so that you can buy a car, so that you can be happy. But there's not so much things here. You just go straight to happiness without getting up at 5 in the morning. So stuff like that.
Very well. At least I will join for sure. Because this is something I always keep searching for. That's what is very nice. Well, thank you very much, Sandeep ji, for being with us today. And audience, have a lovely weekend ahead. And see you next Friday, another Community Friday. Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. Thank you.